Alright guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So today we bring you 3 weeks with the OnePlus 9. I do have the OnePlus 9 and the OnePlus 9 Pro. This is the OnePlus 9. I've had this one longer, so I'm giving you the 3-week review on this now. So normally when I do a follow-up review and I talk about processing power and stuff like that, I always just play one round of Asphalt 9. So I just kept playing and I said, you know what, let's hit record. But before I get any further, I want to swipe down here on this side here. And there's controls here that you can change. You can go to programming mode. You can have notifications from certain apps turned on and off. You can just do a bunch here. And you can also do screen record here. So we're going to hit screen record. It'll disappear down there on the bottom, down there on the right. And then, you know, we just play our game. So we can upgrade things here. Okay. All right. We can go ahead and start upgrading the vehicle that we want. Spend all my money on the turbos. Let's get some handling. Let's boost those turbos. Oh, I need a little bit more. Okay, yes, I'm level 2. All right. So, but what I wanted to tell you is that when it comes to performance on a phone, are consumers really getting their money's worth? Well, I say yes, because we can't tell a consumer if they're getting their money's worth for performance, because we really don't know what people are doing. Was that a Hellcat back there, or a Demon? The green car? Oh, okay. Anyway, we really don't know if a consumer is getting, we really don't know if a consumer is getting their money's worth on a device, because we don't know how the consumers use their devices. And so I think that when it comes to showing off what phones can do, the best way to do that sometimes is to play a game, because day-to-day tasks don't require much, folks. They don't require much at all. But you get phones out there that have all this power, and I think in the tech community sometimes we tend to kind of push the common consumers away, and you know, we make it seem like they don't know what they're talking about, or they don't know what they're getting into. I'm guilty of that, but I've grown since then, and so I like to help the consumer. So I think when it comes to processing power, day-to-day performance, there's always a way for us to help the consumer and, you know, get them where they need to be. So the OnePlus 9 Pro, before I bring my stand in here, this is the hardware. You get that beautiful display there. Oh, let me stop the recording. I forgot I did the recording. You record your game. So you get this beautiful display here, and let me fire up a video. Even though you just saw that, let me fire up a video here. Let me see if I can find something here. Let's go to my car channel, and let's just pick this video. I like to pick this video for some reason. It comes with this beautiful display. Now, some people always argue that everything should have 4K, or excuse me, 90 hertz and things like that. I say, now that Sony has done 4K 120 hertz, there's really no reason why we can't have a 4K display from someone other than Sony. Look at how beautiful this display is, though. They have done it right. They have done it right. They have done it right. Now, look at the speakers. The mic's facing me, but let me see here. So nice, man. I mean, this is just a fantastic car, man. I mean, I cannot complain. So the mic's facing me, but still, you get the gist of it. This is a beautiful display, and in fact, there are very many. There are very few phones out there that probably could rival this display. Now, depending on what you consider a good display, I'll leave that up to you, but I say that this display is absolutely boss for what it is. Now, hardware and design, this is absolutely great. The cutoff of the camera is a little on the larger side when I compare it to some other phones, but it's still small. But it doesn't bother me. I don't even notice it, actually. After a while, I just go with it, and then that's it. I don't even think twice about it. So looking at this device here, now I do have the latest skin from SophieGuard. This is their rugged series. And this is absolutely beautiful here. SophieGuard.com. Be sure to hit them up if you need a skin. So hit the link in the description if you want to buy a OnePlus. I have a link down there. It's an affiliate link. But you know, I just get a reward every time you buy something. I don't get like money or anything. I get rewards. That's how their affiliate program works. So you just hit that link, go shop, help me get some rewards so I can buy more cases and stuff. Pretty much that's it. So their hardware on this thing is absolutely great. And I know it's just a little bit smaller. Let me get my OnePlus 9 Pro. I know it's just a tad bit smaller. Again, SophieGuard.com, rugged skin in the house. It's just a hair smaller. You probably can't even see the difference too much until I stand them up next to each other. You can see there's a little bit of difference. But this size, man, it's just what it is. This is great. This is a great design too. I actually like this design. I didn't know how I felt about, like, 'cause it has the bigger camera holes. Let me find my iPhone. Let's see. Well, I have to take it out, but I thought the iPhone's camera holes, like the camera modules, were huge. And then I saw the OnePlus, and I thought, okay, I'm doing great with the OnePlus. I had put these side by side. I mean, I'm in reverse. I thought these were huge, and then I picked up my iPhones. Like, wait a minute, yeah, the iPhone's got jumbo-sized camera modules there. So, not really tripping on that. I think the hardware on here and the camera modules is not big at all. It's really good. I really like it. I really wish they would have done a headphone jack on this particular 9. And I know it costs $729, you know, or something like that. But hit the link in the description again to buy your OnePlus products. This hardware is just fantastic to me. It's a good size, and like I said, it feels good in the hand. It has a flat display too, and it has in-screen fingerprint reader, as you can see there, and the facial recognition. Let's be clear here, from behind the camera. You know, I was watching Grant. Shout out to Grant S. Be sure to check him out. He has a video up now on his, I think, 1 month or 3 month he did for the OnePlus 9 Pro. I'm not there yet on the, I don't think I've had this 3 weeks yet. I think I had it for like 2 weeks, so, but I will follow up again. But I was watching his video and he talked about the facial recognition, like we all do. It's so fast that you don't think that it's secure at all. You know, and then the in-screen fingerprint reader is just consistent. This is one of the best in-screen fingerprint readers that we've ever come across. Let's just call it for what it is. It really is. The hardware on here is great. Now, it is a flat display, and some people are like, oh, I want a flat display. But honestly, I like curved displays too. Let's take a sip of coffee on that one, guys. Get your coffee and let's take a sip. I actually like curved displays too. It doesn't bother me, you know what I'm saying? So the hardware on here, folks, top notch to me. It's right in line with every other device out there that has quote unquote flagship stuff. You know, they're talking about flagship stuff, you know? So I think you won't be disappointed with the 9's hardware. And the 9 doesn't get talked about enough, I think. I don't think the 9 gets talked about enough. Everybody's focused on the Pro model, but the 9 is actually very nice, folks. I kid you not. Let me bring in something else here. Let's see here. I was charging it up, but I pulled it off the charger. I want to show you another phone, just for reference. This is the Velvet. Now the Velvet is super narrow, curved. Maybe I'll compare the Velvet next to the Pro model of this phone, but some would say compare these because the Velvet doesn't have the processor, which I think is crazy. But you can see the difference in this right here. How small it is when it looks next to a 6.8-inch display, but it still feels really good in the hand. And the reason I'm bringing the Velvet out is because I think the Velvet has great hardware. The Velvet has some fantastic hardware, and some people argue that it doesn't. I think it does, but I think OnePlus's hardware, top notch. So software-wise, stock Android, folks. Add a little customizations in there that's from OnePlus that you can do yourself, and you're good to go. You can change this layout any way you want to. I don't keep very many widgets on my device, but software, stock Android, you can put icon packs on here. You can customize this the way you want to, and that's just no secret in how that's done. OnePlus has always been, you know, because remember Nova, didn't they have a deal with like Nova Launcher at one point? You know what I'm saying? Like where they had, it was like straight up Nova Launcher stuff being on the phone. I'm not sure. I could be way off. That might not have been OnePlus. Don't quote me on that. But nonetheless, software, folks, blazing fast. Your day-to-day tasks are not, I mean, and this is for the people who have like that. Their normal routine is just get into Instagram and, yeah, they go to Twitter and they go to YouTube or whatever they're doing. And this is just what it's going to be, folks. You cannot say by any means that you will, I cannot say by any means that you will not like the performance that comes from this device. You won't. Jay, why are you changing wallpapers? I'm just showing you the beautiful display. That's all. Just different colors. Some of you guys might want to know what it looks like with the green or the blue, whatever. That green is dope though. Ooh, that's nice. That's nice. But software wise, you should be okay with this. That goes hand in hand with the performance. You will be fine with this. Battery life for me, again, really not pushing a long battery life. Most of the time when I'm using this, it's over LTE. But when I put my T-Mobile SIM card in here, it's 5G bars. So network phone calls, that's going to determine how good your battery life is. So if you stay on Wi-Fi, you got a strong Wi-Fi connection, you're solid. You're going to get some fantastic battery more than likely. But I tend to be off of Wi-Fi a lot of times. Now at home, I'm on Wi-Fi a lot. But when I take this phone with me, because I'm using several phones right now with me, the OnePlus 9 Pro, and then I got my iPhone 12 Pro Max is in there too. But this phone is kind of like the third SIM card, if you will. But I just feel like battery life on this phone hasn't been what I thought it was going to be. I mean, even with that big battery inside of there, I just thought it would be better. And I blame that solely on the fact that it's not certified on the AT&T network. When I use it on T-Mobile, I'm getting 5G and the speeds are good. But let me see what my speeds are right now on AT&T, because I do have my AT&T SIM card in there. So let's just see what the speeds are. The speeds are fantastic on AT&T the times that I've checked. I mean, 50, 80, and as soon as I do a speed test here, I'm getting 9. But nonetheless, the reason that I think this phone is struggling is because it's not certified on AT&T's network, and so it's working harder, even though it's got solid LTE service wherever I go. And the speeds are normally really fast compared to this, but these speed tests are, they're not really, it's not really nothing. But nonetheless, the battery struggles on this phone for me, and I don't get more than 5 hours of screen on time, even though I can make it through a full day. I can make it through a full day, period. So price, $700 or so. And you can even find this phone, the 12 gig version. This is a 2115 model, right? So you can find the 12 gig version, 256 gigs, what I would tell you to go for too, for the same price. You just have to buy it third party. And some of you guys don't like to buy third party, and I understand that. So hit the OnePlus link down below and get some kind of, help your man out. But price-wise, I think it's fairly priced based on today's market. The problem is that you've got the Pixel 5 and the Pixel 4a 5G that are just, even though they don't have this processor, they murder this phone when it comes to photos. And I shouldn't say murder. They really slaughter this phone when it comes to photos and some video. And then performance is better, even though it has the Pixel 5 and the Pixel 4a 5G only has 60 gigs of RAM, because optimization is key. And I'm just talking about my experience. You can disagree, bars, but it's up to you to decide. In that arena, you do the math, or you pick that out how you want to fight that battle. But the price to me is fairly priced, because you do get the higher processor for $30 more than the Pixel 5, basically, or $60, whatever it costs more, a little bit more. You get the higher processor, you get more RAM, if that means something to you, and you get a nice design. I could argue that this design is better than the Pixel 5. I could argue that, right? It's all subjective, but it is what it is. So last but not least, the cameras on here. Everybody is hyped about the cameras, so we'll give them a run. so here's the front camera on the OnePlus 9, and audio, everything is coming from the OnePlus 9. Now the front camera on the OnePlus 9 can do 60 frames per second. There's a little icon on the bottom left, or I guess if you have it, whatever orientation, under the camera when you turn the camera on, under the front camera, there's a little icon there where you can change it from 30 to 60. So most people probably forget that, but I would definitely tell you, change your footage to 60 frames per second. I think it just looks a little bit more smooth, looks better for motion and stuff, you know. I don't know. But let's test the autofocus on the front of this thing. I'm gonna take off my ring. Bars, folks, just bars. Take off my ring here. Let's put it right up in the camera. It's focusing on me. It's focusing on me. It's focusing on me. Now it's got the ring a little bit. Having trouble there. I'm in frame. I guess the face tracking is really, really solid on here. Because if I put the ring right on the camera, still trying to get my face. I think that's pretty dope. That's pretty good. But you know, autofocus is the face tracking is really nice. I could lock the focus on there, but nonetheless, here's the front camera. Now let's switch over to the rear. All right, so now here's the rear camera. So between the rear and the front camera, you should be able to see a lot of difference in how this phone is performing. You can do ultra wide at 4K 60. You can even do 8K video. Now I never produced 8K footage really. I've done a few samples in the past, but nobody has an 8K monitor. And you know, Samsung started this trend. We're gonna tell everybody about 8K. But you know, no one had, and that's just to sell their own products. But you know, putting 8K on a cell phone, it's just not there yet. 4K isn't even really ready yet. But what do you think about this footage here from the rear camera? And you know, let's close out with the front camera. I'm going to close this video out with the front camera. All right, after further review, I decided to go ahead and use the rear camera to close out the video. So, the OnePlus 9. I think that if a phone is getting overlooked, it's probably the OnePlus 9. Now, again, because the hype always goes behind what the company is actually hyping up. And right now, the company is hyping up the OnePlus 9 Pro. And this, trust me, the OnePlus 9 Pro is fantastic. I like the OnePlus 9 Pro a little bit better than the OnePlus 9. But the fact of the matter is, as a creator, I have to look out for the consumers, and I can't promote, you know, you just to go for the Pro model, because the word Pro gets thrown around so much. What's a Pro? So, I think the OnePlus 9's front camera, rear camera, both perform stellar in certain situations, and it also, you know, OnePlus 9 is now in the conversation of cameras. And which was, you know, some would argue that they've always been there, but I don't think so. Seeing as though I've purchased probably almost all the OnePlus devices, you know, I just think that the cameras was always their downfall. But I'm not going to beat up on OnePlus for that, man. I mean, I'm not having any heating issues. I've never had any heating issues. Even at 4K 60, at 8K, it just cuts off, you know, like when recording. So I'm not having those problems. And I'm not going to knock people who are having those problems. I'm just saying, that doesn't exist over here. Even recording, and I'm in a state where it's super hot outside. So, you know, I don't know. I'm not having any issues. I've recorded outside. I've let the camera go on and on and on, just record. And at the 4K 60 is 5 minutes, and 8K is 5 minutes. So it just cuts off. And then I start it again and keep recording. So this is, you know, are there some bad batches of phones out there? Of course. There's always going to be some bad batches of phones. That's just how it is. Any device. But I think, you know, for me, the battery life on the OnePlus 9, it's good. It's not great. That's a small complaint I have. And then the hardware is not the frosted back. It would have been nice for them to offer a frosted back option for the 9. But right now they just have it for the 9 Pro. It's just that one option. I just think that the hardware is right in line with all the other hardware out there right now. It's fantastic. But I just honestly don't have very many complaints on this phone other than the battery. And now the front camera, like I said earlier, I decided to go ahead and use this rear camera on the OnePlus 9 to finish out this video, because in this particular setting, the rear camera is really nice. It's more true to life. Outside, the OnePlus 9 front camera did a little better when I did footage like that, and just photos and everything from the OnePlus 9. They're good, man. They may not be mind blowing and stellar and beating up on everything out there, but again, they're in the conversation. So battery is probably my biggest drawback on this phone. I kind of like everything about it just about. And some people say, well, it's got to be some negatives. Well, it's still only 3 weeks in. What if something happens and something breaks and it doesn't get fixed by OnePlus for 2 months? Who knows? But I think people tend to beat up on other companies that are not the other two companies. They continue to get a pass for nearly everything. And that's just how this industry appears to be right now. You know what I'm saying? But anyone who says that the OnePlus 9's cameras are just horrible or they're not ready yet, they're totally entitled to their opinion. But I say, I got them both too. And in my experience, I try to leave as much of me out of it. Talking about dynamic range and all this other stuff, and the pixels. Yeah, I just put the photos out there, and you guys can battle it out on what has the more dynamic range, and if it was the shadows were off and the sky was. I just take the photo and put it out there. And I've been putting a lot of stuff online with OnePlus 9 Pro versus the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Just photos. I've got some night shots. I've got just a bunch of different stuff out there, and I think the OnePlus 9 is competing in every arena now. I think these cameras aren't bad. I think the battery life is what it is. I've got other phones out there that cost a heck of a lot more that have poor battery life or just about the same. Because you have to factor in price. Price is always going to be a factor, man. You cannot leave price out. Because if we're going to take care of the consumers out there who just genuinely don't understand or don't know, we need to be honest. We can't just promote the Pro bars. We have to take care of them. And this is an option for them. If they want to get this phone I have and they don't want to spend the extra money, it's an option for them. Like if they say, oh, I like your phone, but I don't want to spend $1,000. Are you willing to spend $700 or so? Sure, I'll do that. I'll finance that. Okay, well then check out the 9. You basically have the same phone minus the resolution and minus the camera. And maybe a few other tweaks that are being done. Other than that, I think it's totally worth it, man. The OnePlus 9 is worth the money. Now, there are those competing factors out there with like the Pixel 5. That's a tough one. Some people say, though, you shouldn't compare those because it doesn't have the processor. I hear what you're saying. But the Pixel 5 and the Pixel 4a 5G, it's a champ. To me, those are the photo champs and the software champs. They win hands down, in my personal opinion, when you start to talk about Android. You cannot talk about Android without talking about pixels. It just doesn't work like that. The Pixel devices, to me, are like the common kings of Android. That's just what I think. You don't have to agree with that. I'm not telling you to. I'm just saying they've proven on record that they know how to make good camera footage, good photos, good software, and battery life is just stellar on those. So hopefully I covered enough for you in this 3-week follow-up, and I'm using the camera, to finish out the video. So hopefully you got something from this video, man. If you consider yourself to be a non-tech savvy person, watch my videos, and I'll try to keep it as plain and simple as possible. That's what I'll do for you. So it's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.